Hello friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy, and I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the Niv, we are in the book of Joshua, and we are in chapter 16, which is all of 10 verses. So let's jump in. Allotment for Ephraim and Manasseh, or it's the half-tribe of Manasseh. The allotment for Joseph began at the Jordan of Jericho, east of the waters of Jericho. Jordan of Jericho, possibly an ancient name for the Jordan River. East of the waters of Jericho, and went up from there through the desert into the hill country of Bethel. It went on from Bethel, that is Luz, the Septuagint, Hebrew Bethel to Luz, crossed over to the territory of the Arkites, as Arkeites, in Ataroth, Ataroth, descended westward to the territory of the Japhleelites, Japhletites, as far as the region of the lower Beth Horon and on to Gezer, ending at the sea. So Manasseh and Ephraim, the descendants of Joseph, received their inheritance. There was a territory for Ephraim, clan by clan. The boundary of their inheritance went up from Ataroth Adar in the east to the upper Beth Horon, and continued to the sea. From Micmeath, Micmethath, on the Jordan, it curved eastward to Tanath Shiloh, passing by it to Janoah to the east. Then it went down from Janoah to Ataroth and Naarah, touched Jericho, and came out at the Jordan from Tappuah, Tappuah. The border went to the west of Kanah ravine and ended at the sea. There was an inheritance of the tribe of the Ephraimites, clan by clan. It also included all the towns and the villages that were set aside from the Ephraimites with the inheritance of the Manassanites. They did not dislodge the Canaanites living in Gezer. To this day, the Canaanites live among the people of Ephraim, but are required to do forced labor, because that's the one they made the treaty with. So, I know this can seem sometimes a little tedious, but remember, we're talking about legal claims to lands, or at least legal in the eyes of the people who wrote the law, so to the lands. So imagine this if they're trying to draw it on a boundary map to say these portions belong to this tribe, whereas for these portions belong to that tribe. So that's why all the geographic locations, and that's why the specific listing of towns. So they can't be arguing about it later. Until the next video, friends. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy, and I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We're in the Niv. We're in chapter 17, which is actually really picking up from chapter 16 under the heading of allotment for Ephraim and Manasseh. This was the allotment for the tribe of Manasseh as Joseph's firstborn. That is for Machir, Manasseh's firstborn. Machir was the ancestor of the Gileadites, who had received Gilead and Bashan because the Machirites were great soldiers. So this allotment was for the rest of the people of Manasseh, for the clans of Abiezer, Helik, Azriel, Shehem, Hefer, and Shemidiah. These are the other male descendants of Manasseh, son of Joseph, by their clans. Now, Zelophehad Zelophehad, Zelophehad, son of Hepher, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, had no sons, but only daughters, whose names were Malala, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. They went to Eleazar the priest, and Joshua son of Nun, and the leaders, and said, "The Lord commanded Moses to give us an inheritance among our brothers." So Joseph gave them an inheritance along with the brothers of their father, according to the Lord's command. Manasseh's share consisted of 10 tracts of lands, besides Gilead and Bashan, east of the Jordan, because the daughters of the tribe of Manasseh received an inheritance among the sons. The lands of Gilead belonged to the rest of the descendants of Manasseh. The territory of Manasseh extended from Asher to Methaath, east of Shechem. The boundary ran southward from there to include the people living in Tupa. Manasseh had the land of it's actually Tapua, but Tapua itself on the boundary of Manasseh belonged to the Ephraimites. So there's even among these clans, there's your boundary marker. Then the boundary continued south to the Kanah ravine. There, the towns belonging to Ephraim lying along the towns of Manasseh. But the boundary of Manasseh was the northern side of the ravine and ended at the sea. On the south, the land belonged to Ephraim. On the north, to Manasseh. So basically, the ravine right in half. The territory of Manasseh reached the sea and bordered Asher, which remember is another tribe, on the north, and Issachar, another tribe, to the east. Well, I should say the east. With Issachar and within Issachar and Asher, Manasseh also had Beth Shan, Eblam, and the people of Dor, Endor, Tanakh, and Megiddo, Endor. So now you know where at least where Lucas got that part from, right? Together with their surrounding settlements, the third in the list is Naphoth, and the Naphoth, that is Naphoth Dor. Yet the Manassites were not able to occupy these towns, for the Canaanites were determined to live in that region. However, when the Israelites grew strong, they subjected the Canaanites to forced labor, but did not drive them out completely. The people of Joseph said to Joshua, "Why have you given us only one allotment and one portion for an inheritance? We are numerous people, and the Lord has blessed us abundantly." "If you are so numerous," Joshua answered, "and if the hill country of Ephraim is too small for you, go up into the forest and clear the land for yourself. There in the land of the Perizzites and the Rephaites." The people of Joseph replied, "The hill country is not enough for us, and the Canaanites who live in the plain have iron chariots, both those in Beth Sha'an and in its settlements, and those in the valley of Jezreel." But Joshua said to the house of Joseph, to Ephraim and Manasseh, "You are numerous and very powerful. You will have not only one allotment, but the forested hill country as well. Clear it, and its farthest limits will be yours. Though the Canaanites have chariots, and though they are strong, you can drive them out." So they were complaining and they want more land because they couldn't get rid of all the Canaanites. So he said, go take care of that land. Guess we'll find out what happens possibly in the next video, friends. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name's Amy, and I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are in the Niv, and we are in Joshua, chapter 18, and we're going to do the whole chapter, because that's what we do. Division of the rest of the land. The whole assembly of Israelites gathered at Shiloh and set up the tent of meeting there. The country was brought under their control, but there were still 7 Israelite tribes who had not yet received their inheritance. So Joshua said to the Israelites, "How long will you wait before you begin to take possession of the land that the Lord, the God of your fathers, has given you? Appoint 3 men from each tribe. I will send them out to make a survey of the land and to write descriptions of it, according to the inheritance of each. Then they will return to me. You are to divide the land into 7 parts. Judah is to remain in its territory on the south, and the house of Joseph in its territory on the north. After you have written descriptions of the 7 parts of the land, bring them here to me, and I will cast lots for you in the presence of the Lord our God. The Levites, however, do not get a portion among you, because the priestly service of the Lord is their inheritance. And Gad, Reuben, and the half-tribe of Manasseh have already received their inheritance on the east side of the Jordan. Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave it to them." As the men started out on their way to map out the land, Joshua instructed them, "Go and make a survey of the land and write a description of it. Then return to me, and I will cast lots for you here at Shiloh in the presence of the Lord." So the men left and went through the land. They wrote its descriptions on a scroll, town by town, in 7 parts, and returned to Joshua in the camp at Shiloh. And Joshua then cast lots for them in Shiloh in the presence of the Lord, and there he distributed the land of the Israelites according to their tribal division. So think of it as he sent out his survey team so they could figure out how they were going to divide up this land into 7 lots based upon boundary markers. Okay? The allotment for Benjamin. The allotment came up for the tribe of Benjamin, clan by clan. Their allotted territory lay between the tribes of Judah and Joseph. On the north side, their boundary began at the Jordan, passed the northern slope of Jericho, and headed west into the hill country, coming out of the desert of Beth-aven. From there, it crossed into the slope of the Luz, that is Bethel, and went down to Adaroth Adar on the hill and over to lower Beth Horon. From the hill facing Beth Horon on the south, the boundary turned south along the western side and came out at Kirith Baal, that is Kirith Jearim, a town of the people of Judah. There was the western side. The southern side began at the outskirts of Kirith Jearim on the west, and the boundary came out at the spring of the waters of Nephtoah, Nephtoah. The boundary went down to the foot of the hill facing the valley of Ben Hinnom, north of the valley of Rephaim. It continued down the Hinnom Valley along the southern slope of the Jebusite city, and so to En Rogel. It then curved north, went to En Shemesh, continued to Gileoth, that's Geliloth, so however you would pronounce that, and which faces the pass of Adumim, and ran down to the stone of Boan, son of Reuben, and it continued to the northern slope of Beth Araba, and the Septuagina. It says the slope facing the Araba, so facing the Dead Sea, and went on down to the Araba, and it went to the northern slope of Beth Hogla and came out at the northern bay of the Salt Sea, that is the Dead Sea, and at the mouth of the Jordan to the south. This was the southern boundary. The Jordan formed the boundary on the eastern side. These are the boundaries that marked out the inheritance of the clans of Benjamin on all sides. The tribe of Benjamin, clan by clan, had the following cities: Jericho, Beth Hogla, Emek Keziz, Beth Araba, Zim Arim, Bethel, Aviim, Para, Oprah, Kepher, Ammonii, Ophani, and Geba. 12 towns and their villages: Gibeon, Ramah, Beeroth, Mizpah, Kephirah, Moza, that's Mozah, Rakim, Urapil, Taralah, Zila, Halipi, Halepleph. The Jebusite city, that is Jerusalem, Gibeah and Kirith, 14 towns and their villages. This is the inheritance of Benjamin for its clans. So that indicates that Jerusalem is somehow Judah and Benjamin, maybe Judah and Benjamin border. So we're going to find out what happens for the rest of the clans, literally, in the next video, friends. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I am an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We are still catching those little pockets of missing videos from the New International Version. So we are going to be recording in this video Luke chapter 20, verses 1 through 8. Which is just one little parable. And then we'll be dropping another video for verses 27 through 40. Because the rest of Luke 20 is already available on the channel. So, the authority of Jesus questioned. One day, as he was teaching the people in the temple courts and preaching the gospel, the chief priests and the teachers of the law, together with the elders, came up to him. "Tell us, by what authority are you doing these things?" they said. "Who gave you this authority?" Oh, and isn't that just that's you're not minding your business. If you're unless they're hurting people. If you need the cops, go get the cops. But if it's not illegal, whew. He replied, "I will also ask you a question. Tell me, John's baptism, was it from heaven or from men?" They discussed it among themselves, and they said, "If we say from heaven, he will ask, 'Why didn't you believe him?' But if we say from men, all the people will stone us, because they are persuaded that John was a prophet." So they're not looking to be truthful, they're looking to stay safe. So they answered, "Well, we don't know where it was from." Jesus said, "Neither will I tell you by what authority I am doing these things." That's I've got things to do. Or dust the dirt from your sandals and walk away. right? So let's all remember that we all answer to the on high. And if somebody's acting out in some kind of way, trust me, the big hand of God can handle it. All wrath is for God. Hello, friends, and welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I am an ordained minister. We are in Bible study. We are in the book of Luke. We are in chapter 20, and we are doing the parable of the tenants. So verse 9, sorry. Chapter 20, verse 9, and we are going through chapter 26. So we're doing two parables in this. The first one is called the parable of the tenants. We're in the Niv, and we will be through next year, because next year we'll do the Old Testament and the Psalms, and we'll start our comparison language with the Proverbs, to compare the Niv Proverbs to the KJV Proverbs. The KJV Proverbs are already posted on the Facebook page. The next Bible that we'll read after this one will be the KJV. And then we'll really get into the comparison language to see how the edits make the message change. Right? The parable of the tenants, verse 9. He went on to tell the people this parable. A man planted a vineyard, rented it to some farmers, and went away for a long time. At harvest time, he sent a servant to the tenants so they would give him some fruit of the vineyard. But the tenants beat him and sent him away empty-handed. He sent another servant, but that one they also beat and treated shamefully and sent away empty-handed. Still he sent a third, and they wounded him and threw him out. Then the owner of the vineyard said, "What shall I do? I will send my son, whom I love. Perhaps they will respect him." But when the tenants saw him, they talked the matter over. "This is the heir," they said. "Let's kill him, and the inheritance will be ours." So they threw him out of the vineyard and killed him. What then will the owner of the vineyard do to them? He will come and kill those tenants and give the vineyard to others. When the people heard this, they said, "May this never be." Jesus looked directly at them and asked, "Then what is the meaning of that which is written? The stone the builders rejected has become the capstone." Now it's got D and E, and one of those is sometimes when it's cornerstone, but it also comes from Psalm 118:22. And I want to see which one it is as we go through different versions of the Bible. Because capstone and cornerstone in construction, which is where I've spent a good 25 years of my life, are not the same thing. They do not serve the same function. A cornerstone is a base. It's a weight point for a building to rest on. Like Jesus is the cornerstone of our faith. A capstone is something that goes on top. Like to keep the water out, it seals in, like at the top of, say, like a parapet wall, or it doesn't have to be a parapet wall, but the top of a wall. So, capstone. Now, I'm going to say in this, it means who's he speaking to? Or who's he speaking about? Because for the apostles, of course, who will be the first saints, Jesus is the cornerstone of their faith. He is what the faith is built on for a Christian. For the Jewish people, though, he's the capstone, because this is a parable about him. God kept sending prophets. They kept disrespecting and killing them. So he sent his son. who they're going to kill. So then, of course, he's not going to let him into heaven, because if you kill, God's son, he's not. Why would he let you into heaven, kind of thing. So it does matter. That's why we're going to examine the differences, because who is he addressing it to? If he said capstone, it's because he's talking about the Pharisees to the apostles. Everyone who falls on that stone. Capstone is like, it's above, so you'd have to be falling from above. Cornerstone is below. It's at the base of a building. Everyone who falls on that stone will be broken to pieces, but he on whom it falls will be crushed. The teachers of the law and the chief priests looked for a way to arrest him immediately, because he knew they had spoken this parable against them. But they were afraid of the people. So that would indicate capstone and not cornerstone. Because again, who is he talking to? In that case, he was talking to the Pharisees. This one is called paying taxes to Caesar. Because remember, now the Pharisees are trying to trick him so they can get him arrested. They want to silence him. The people who are speaking out, the whistleblowers, always are looking to be silenced by someone. Someone is always trying to stop them. That's why they're whistleblowers in the first place. Somebody else is behaving inappropriately, and they don't want to be called out. People in power really do. Power positions on earth often have jockeying for, position based upon someone's opinion of you. That's why I say no thank you. Paying taxes to Caesar, verse 20. Keeping a close watch on him, they sent spies who pretended to be honest. They hoped to catch Jesus in something he said, so they might hand him over to the power and authority of the governor. So the spies questioned him. Teacher, we know that you speak and teach what is right, and that you do not show partiality, but teach the way of God in accordance with the truth. Is it right for us to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Ooh. See, because that's the trick. He says don't pay taxes to Caesar. Then, he can be arrested by the Romans for, trying to create insurrection. All right? So, not good. But he says, you do pay taxes. He's kind of legitimizing the Romans being there. And in their opinion about what the Messiah is supposed to bring, would invalidate him. That's why they think it's a trick. He doesn't really care about their opinion. And I think that's the difference. They're laboring under the delusion that he cares about their opinion of him or his right to do this stuff. People in power usually do assume that everybody everybody they view as under them, naturally, care what they have to think, because that's how they got into a position of power. They don't necessarily realize that not everybody's playing their game. So, they're trying to trick him. Verse 23. He saw through their duplicity. Of course he did, because he's a Messiah. And said to them, show me a denarius. Whose portrait and inscription are on it? Caesar's, they replied. He said to them, then give to Caesar what is Caesar's, and give to God what is God's. Now, that's a very, in those lists of things in the Jewish culture about things that you are or are not supposed to do, it doesn't really tell you that you're supposed to go and rebel all the time. In fact, being a Christian does not mean rebelling against your government. It doesn't mean you can't, but kind of not supposed to be breaking the laws of man so that you don't get people looking at you like, being a Christian means something negative. kind of supposed to not be out in the world trying to create drama. So, verse 26. They were unable to trap him in what he said there in the public, and astonished by its answer, they became silent. Because they were like, oh, he said, pay taxes. Huh. We weren't expecting that. Like I said, they really are. They really are. So, let's remember that, you know, you can only really have power over someone if they decide that your opinion matters and that they have to obey you. They do have to recognize your authority before, you know, you should assume that they're going to just blindly do as you say. I kind of feel like we're not really supposed to blindly do what anybody says. And we're supposed to just check back in with God for everything. Like, we can blindly do what he says. But those people still walking around in vessels, bodies, the flesh, however you want to contextualize for you, whatever word feels right for you. Not so much them. Never really been about blindly obeying those people. God, though, he can have whatever he wants. Until a few minutes from now, friends. Hello, friends. Welcome to Adventures in Pixieland. My name is Amy. I'm an ordained minister, and we are in Bible study. We're in the Niv, and we are in Psalms, Book 3. We are in Psalm 87. It's of the sons of Korah, a psalm, a song. He has set his foundation on the holy mountain. The Lord loves the gates of Zion more than all the dwellings of Jacob. Glorious things are said of you, O city of God. Selah. I will record Rahab and Babylon among those who acknowledge me, Philistia too, and Tyre, along with Cush, and will say, this one was born in Zion. Indeed, of Zion it will be said, this one and that one were born in her, and the Most High himself will establish her. The Lord will write in their register of the peoples, this one was born in Zion. Selah. As they make music, they will sing, all my fountains are in you. All our fountains can be found in the Lord. Amen to that. Till the next video, friends.